An insight is like a moment of understanding something. It's grasping it. It's getting it. When you have an insight, sometimes it's, think of a cartoon when someone has like an idea, a bright idea. It's like a light bulb moment, right? So if you have an insight, dude, it can be that you've had a ding. But get this, man. It goes deeper than you think. What is a light bulb? What does a light bulb represent? The light bulb represents momentary brightness of consciousness. So in other words, when you have that ding at that moment, that insight, your mind is bright, your consciousness is bright, it's high, it's connected. And it's connected and bright in such a way that it has allowed you to come to realize something, to become aware of something. This is another way of understanding insight. What about the next one? The next one, dude, is it's very similar. It's a shift in consciousness. So notice, man, when you come to realize something, when you've had an insight into something, sometimes it is literally the case that you've shifted consciousness. So before, you were in a certain state, but then you shifted and you came to realize something. You had an insight, right? I'll be honest, man, you will have the most insights when your consciousness shifts. And specifically, man, it's when it becomes higher, right? So whatever your baseline is, whatever you normally experience life as or reality as, you can see that as your baseline. But then notice little peaks. Notice moments where you seem to be more conscious than you normally are. And then notice, dude, why am I having so many ideas and insights? Why am I so creative? Why is my experience so cool? It's because you're more conscious, right? So really, probably this is maybe the best one to remember. Insights happen when you are more conscious. When you have more consciousness, you will have more insights. That's the one to remember. Okay, man. Next one is going to be a shift in perspective. Similar, but I want you to appreciate that perspective is its own thing. So with this one, man, I want you to notice that you're always just taking different perspectives, right? When you have an insight, a lot of the time it's because you'll say something like, I'm looking at this from a new perspective or, man, I've really shifted my perspective and in those moments where I've paused, I want you to insert the insight. Insights happen when you shift. Now, really, when I say shift perspective, on the deeper level, that can mean consciousness. But on the more relative level, when you shift perspective, you're just changing the lens through which you are looking at reality or looking at a particular thing. When you change your focal length, so to speak, you will see a different picture and you will come to understand things differently. So, appreciate perspective. The next one. What is the next one, man? The next way of understanding insight is a mini realization, right? So notice in your mind how it feels to realize something. We could say an insight is like a mini realization, whereas an awakening, which is a very special experience, as you know, man, we could say that's a bigger realization. So insights, they're small, they're frequent. You can be a very insightful person. But what I want you to notice in particular, man, is how it feels it's nice. It's like a mind orgasm to realize something. Really, actually, that's what we could say an awakening is. An awakening is when you really realize something deep and big and profound. That's more of a mind orgasm. But an insight, for me, man, it's just a mini packaged realization. Still really nice, still really good. And the more that you have, the better. The more interconnected your understanding of reality becomes. But yeah, man, let's see what the next one is. Okay. The next one is, it's kind of the same sort of thing, man. It's an epiphany. It's similar to, maybe you've heard someone say, a eureka moment. Again, these are all very similar. And I want you to notice that, yeah, these could be maybe slightly different, maybe slightly nuanced. But I want to draw your attention to what's happening within with each of these. And it really it's the same sort of thing. You have an experience of, But just notice with each different way that I tell you what this is or what this is like, I want you to notice that it's just trying to get you to become more and more aware of what it's like within you, what's happening within you, the process of, in other words, I'm trying to reflect back that experience. I'm trying to induce that experience in you. I'm trying to get you to have insights about insights. Yeah. That's a really fun thing to do, by the way, because wherever you are, you're probably being quite contemplative and quite deep in your thought. So it's a good thing, man. Okay, the next one is, I've got it. I've got it. You know when you're speaking to a deep friend, or you're having a deep conversation with a good friend, a deep friend, and you guys are talking, and then maybe, let's say your buddy or your friend is trying to communicate something to you. And as they're doing that, maybe at some point you even stop them and you say, no, dude, I've got it. I get you, right? To get it is to grasp something. This is another way of saying it. So, in other words, you can pick up the insight that he or she has. Another way of saying that you've had an insight is to say, I know. Now, as you know, man, we don't mean this on the level of knowledge. We don't even mean this on the level of your mind. Some things are known with your being, with your deeper self, your higher self. It's like your consciousness gets it, but your mind could never get it. This is really true of all spiritual awakenings. You get it, but not your mind. And then we've got one more here, dude, and it's this. An insight is a new and original thought. So notice, some thoughts you've had like a lot. Hell, sometimes, man, you probably have the same thoughts over and over again every day. But then, suddenly, you have an insight. It's a new and original thought. It comes out of nowhere. It's spontaneous. It's distinctly new and original. And it's like different because you're like, man, it feels different. It's an insight. Learn to observe this in your experience. Learn to know and feel what it's like to have an insight. And then, moving on, brother or sister, we have this. Sometimes what can happen when you have an insight, especially when you've had a deep insight, is that you don't really need to talk about the thing anymore. Why? Because you've got it. You're more silent because you have true understanding. When you have insight, or to the even deeper level, when you have awakening, you don't need to talk about the thing to try and get it. You've already got it. So you will probably be more quiet. And this is incredibly peaceful, by the way, man. As I've become a person who has way more insights, and I identify as an insightful person. I don't need things from other people. I source my own insights, and I enjoy it. My favorite thing in the world is sitting and being and awakening and having insights. I love how my mind feels. I love connecting with God. I love remembering truth. So to wrap this one up, man, I want to share with you that if you're not taking time to have insights, or really it's investing in spiritual practice like meditation and contemplation to have insights, then I would suggest to you, man, that that's what you've got to be doing. You can experience like non-ordinary amounts of growth simply because you are having so many insights. You know, man, on my phone I have like a notes app, maybe you do too, and when I add my insights to a particular folder, it fills up and I gotta, do a new one. And I can see them all, right? The thing is, sometimes I look at like the first date of when I first put in my first insight, and then I see the last date, and I'm like, how long has it been? And I know that I'm growing like a mofo when I see that the gap between the first and the last is like pretty small, and I just had a ton of insights. That tells me I'm growing, right? Because think about it, man. When you're having insights, you're funneling your realizations into this container for you to see and for you to integrate. Whereas think about when you've been stuck, or when you've been in a crap state of mind, or when you've been just depressed or something, man. Are you really journaling that much? Maybe, but you're probably stuck in your mind. That's the whole thing, right? But the truth is, having insights is not about being in your mind. Life itself, in a broad sense, is not about being in your mind. The final insight for today is that if you want to have insights, you've got to go beyond your mind. Because the source of all insights is the infinite ocean of consciousness. So pull from that. And as you do, just, soften, relax, and let go of your mind. You will have way more insights that way. Okay, man. My friend, I hope you've enjoyed this. If you want to, you can put an insight of yours in the comments. That would be cool. That would be sick, actually, man. Yeah, do that. Okay, my friend. Lots of love. Take care, man. And as always, peace.